Shalom, shalom, and welcome to today's episode of Living Chronicles. I am here with one of my favorite Dodah Shavakiyah. So before we get started, I'm going to give a little information of her bio, and then we'll start with our questions. Okay, so the name is Shavakiyah Davida Baht Israel, correct? Okay. Her titles: she is a woman of valor. She has a doctorate degree from the School of the Prophets. She is also the deputy minister for the Ministry of Divine Performing Arts, correct? Okay. The meaning of her name, it means he or she that honors and praises Yah. That's the Shavakiyah part. And the Davida part, the apple of his eye. So altogether, he or she that honors and praises Yah will be the apple of his eye. Okay. Her age is 78, but she looks like she's 28. She came to Israel in 1973, December of 1973, Detroit. And she's going to have some things to tell us about some things that happened in Detroit before she got here. She has 7 children, 14 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. Her bio also reads as, when she came into the kingdom and came here, she was a teacher of arts and crafts. She says she didn't know anything about arts and crafts. She was also a kindergarten teacher, and all of this was in Kingdom School and Holiness. Okay. She's also taught in the Israeli school system from the kindergarten all the way through to the college level for 31 years. All right. She is a songwriter. She plays the guitar left-handed, and she brought her guitar so maybe we'll be able to get a song out of her. She is a singer. She's also performed throughout the state of Israel and Europe for many, many, many years, for all the years you've been here, right? Yeah. And she actually won an award. She doesn't remember which year, the award Jazz Singer of the Year, herself and Atrasipora.
Angelettes.
As part of the Angelettes. And I'm sure she's going to talk about the Angelettes during her interview. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our questions in just a second. Welcome, Dodah, to Living Chronicles.
I'm so happy it's changed. It's working.
Because the first time we tried this, it didn't work. We had to go back to the drawing board and start over. So I'm pulling up these questions. Okay. All right. So we start every interview. I love to start with the how and why story. So Dodah, if you would be so kind as to tell us, how did you get here and why did you come?
Well, my mother owned a beauty school, and she had a friend of hers she was also a beautician, but she was from the Baha'i faith, and somehow she met this brother, bless his soul, Nasi Asiel. She met him somewhere. I don't know where. They had deported them from Israel.
Oh, this was when
Yeah.
Nasi got deported from
Right.
Israel? Okay.
And Nasi Gabriel Gadol.
Oh, okay.
And a bunch of people.
Okay.
And her name is Mrs. McKay. She set up an interview at the Michigan State University so he could speak to the students there about Israel and why we were there and everything. But when my mother was telling me a story about him, she never said they were black people.
So you just assumed
I just
coming
they
from
were the
Israel,
Jews.
they were Jews,
The Jewish,
they were European descent.
Right. So she said, but I said, where are they going to stay? And she said, they're probably going to stay at my house. I said, mm-mm.
Okay.
I said, no, my daddy ain't going to, so I said, they can stay at my house. So she said, okay. Oh, she was glad I said that. So anyway, we go to the Detroit airport to pick them up.
You and your imam?
Me and my imam. But she never told me what they looked like. So I just assumed they were
You're still looking for
Caucasian.
European, right? You're
Right,
looking for some Caucasians to come through.
So I get out the car, park the car, and I go into the airport. And I'm looking around, and all these people, and I said, I don't even know what they look like.
Right.
So I'm just looking and looking and looking. So I seen two men over to the right of the ticket stand, and they were black. And I said, no, that's not them.
Couldn't be.
But they had these 3-piece suits on, the vest, the coat, and the pants.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing they had was a glow. Like a light around them. I had never seen nothing. I've heard people say that, you have an aura. I know it.
And it wasn't Vaseline.
No, it wasn't no Vaseline because their suits were shining too, So I walked over to them and I said, excuse me, you all are looking for Mrs. Holly? And they said, yeah. And I said, okay, come go with me. But this glow that they had, it just captured me. So when they got in my car, I turned around. They was in the back seat. I said, I don't know who you are and I don't know where you from, but I know I'm going there with you.
You just made that decision
right then.
It was something about the energy,
right
about that.
I mean, you could see it. So if you could see it, and I didn't consider myself a spiritual person. I didn't even know what that was. But anything that I see with my eyes, I trust.
So this was Nasi Gatsiel
and Nasi Gabriel
and Nasi Gabriel. Okay.
So I took them to my house, and they lived with me, and I had a great time with them. They taught me a lot. The first thing they taught me about, you can have more than one wife. They didn't preach to me.
So when you heard that growing up in America and you heard more than one wife, what was your initial thoughts to that?
I had none.
You had no thoughts?
None.
Most women do. I know I did. Most women
I
do.
didn't, because I couldn't even keep one husband. To my 2 wives, I didn't have no thoughts about it.
All right.
I was engrossed in who are they? What they doing here? What's my mother getting into now? She was always in the politics, something. I was always there. So I didn't think about it. But I know I didn't have the husband that I was married to then, so I can't argue the point.
Right.
Of him having somebody else. I ain't had nobody, so I wasn't there. But they knew that it was going to be a problem or consideration for the sisters,
Like I say, most women,
most of
it
them.
was.
So I was working. I don't know where I was working. I was working somewhere. And I came home from work that day. And they said, one had me, I think it was Nasi, had me braiding his hair. Okay. I don't know why, because I can't braid. But anyway, he had me braiding their hair. I said, come do my feet. So I run and get the...
They were testing you.
Yeah, they was really testing me. And they put the thing, I started doing his feet. I got halfway. I said, y'all trying to tell me something. And they fell out laughing.
They wanted to see if you was going to do it. Because, black women in America, we talking about braiding your hair. Okay, you might do that. Washing your feet, you'd be like, come on now.
I said, y'all trying to see how I'm gonna deal with that plural marriage thing. Right. And so that's how I learned about it. I learned about me. I learned that I could service, I could wait on people. I never had to do that. I just had my children. And by then, after a few weeks, my brothers.
What, they stayed at your house for?
They lived there.
They lived there for an extended period of time.
Yeah, a long time.
Okay.
So I learned that I could do that.
Right.
And I started wearing the clothes, and that's when we went some kind of affair after a while. Pan-Africanism. Sephora was there and a couple more people that's in the nation now. And Sephora said, I looked like an African queen. Well, I was trying to because I got dressed and I would carry Nasik Asiel's books, and all that. But hardly no African queen. but Sephora, she said she thought I was, And
so is not meaning to cut you off, but is that how the Detroit extension got started?
Started. But anyway, I always believed, beyond believe, I knew there was a God. I didn't know if he was African. I didn't know. I wasn't one of those Jesus people. But I went to church. I went to the Baptist church because I had to sing in the choir and with my mother. The only spiritual thing like that happened to me. I was 13, and they had gotten out of church for the afternoons so we could have a Bible study, the young people. So they went outside, and I was sitting in the church by myself, sitting in my church. And it's a prophet or somebody in the Bible what talks about how he was in the temple and it filled up with smoke. And that's how he knew God was real. Well, it happened to me. I was 13. I was in there by myself, and I was sitting in the front just thinking about all this. Not this, but church.
Just thinking about life.
Right. And I looked over my head, and I looked in the room. It was full of smoke. I never told anybody. This is the first time I ever told anybody. And I knew that God was real. Now, I hadn't met Nasasiel, and I wasn't but 13, so my first experience to me, was God himself. I knew that was real. And that's something you have to know for yourself.
Right.
Nobody can teach you that, not really. So anyway, get back to it. They lived with me for a long time.
And you all were going around, they were speaking at different venues. And
mainly the college.
Mainly colleges.
Michigan State.
And teaching people about the community and what was going on.
And we would invite our friends over to our house, and they learned that's where Ben Kyle and Nehemiah came from. They lived up the street from me. And I've been knowing Ben Kyle since I was about 13.
Wow.
But I didn't know he lived up the street from me. But anyway, that's how we knew. And then in my mother's, she had a beauty school. In the basement of the beauty school, they would have the classes to induct people.
Right.
And that's where Ellis, Nasi, Eli, Benzion, so many, all the whole Detroit people came
through there.
So that's how I got involved with that. I've never looked back.
So what was the story like as far as you all actually leaving America, packing up, leaving, and coming to Israel?
Okay. That was, it was so easy for me. I never struggled, not one time, with the whole idea. Once I got it and it connected, the hardest part was no money.
Okay.
Because you had to have which is a story within itself. You had to have money for the ticket to go to Israel. And they were deporting them.
So at the same time, you were trying to get money for a ticket to come here. They were deporting people that were
Well, that's how Nasasiel and them got here.
Because they had gotten deported.
But, I don't know how I got like I am and my belief system. But on the radio, on the television, they were showing that these cars in Detroit was riding down the street and the trunks would explode. And they said that it looked like some aliens that did it. And in Michigan at that time, by the waters in Michigan, had sightings.
They had what?
Sightings.
Okay.
Right, of spaceships. Well, I was young, so I believed in that,
Right,
that it
right.
was some spaceships and all of that. And then I was a strong believer in the God, especially the God they had introduced me to. Okay. So I said, if I'm supposed to go, I need a job.
Okay.
Okay. Paying whatever, much more than I was getting. And my mother called me the next morning and said, guess what? I got you a job. I said, what? She said, because my mother, I said, she was with the government a lot and they had the riots in Detroit.
Okay.
So they were giving jobs in the government level to
Right,
young people.
Right.
So they wouldn't be out in the street and have some more riots.
Right.
So she got me a job. So I asked her, well, when do I start? And she said, you can start tomorrow, whatever tomorrow was. I said, what is it? She said, I don't know. And she
You just
said,
knew you had a job.
I didn't care what it was. So they say, be at such and such street at such a time, and a bus is going to pick you up. And you're going to be working at Valor. Valor was an island for, what do you call it? For recreation, and it was on the Detroit River, and, it was beautiful. And so the bus came and picked me up not too far from my house. I went all the way in the back, and I went to sleep.
The bus ride was that long?
It was long.
Wow.
Because I lived like northwest, and where the students was, it was in Grosse Pointe. That's where the rich, Caucasians live. I was a big rich people. But I didn't know that's where we were going.
Mm-hmm.
So I got on the bus. I went all the way to the back, closed my eyes. Took me about an hour and a half to get to Grosse Pointe.
Man.
I'm asleep. When I woke up, the bus stopped. I woke up. 50 young Caucasian children got on that bus. Not one black face anywhere but mine. And I said, what am I going to do? Because she told me. She didn't know either. We went to Valor. That's another hour away from where we were. Right?
So you're talking about a 2.5-hour bus
Right.
ride?
It was 2.5 hours because we had to pick up the children. They was teenagers. So we get to the island. And I said, and they had whoever one of the supervisors, because they went swimming. It was recreation. He came in the back and he gave me a cardboard box with some clowns in it. I said, what is this?
What, like little cloth clowns or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were for keychains.
Okay.
And I said, I don't know how to make them keychains. They say, his instruction book is right there. I read the book. And I made one. It was easy, but it didn't look easy in them days. And because the arms and legs was felt, and it had a clown's head and the felt, them little skinny felt thing for the body. But it was a keychain. So I would, they went swimming, the kids. They ain't no black kids, just white. They went swimming, and they went this, they went there.
They just had a whole day of activities.
But then they came ready for me to teach it. Arts and crafts.
Had you figured out how to make the keychains yet?
I figured out that I could. Okay. Because I put the book down and I said, now, children, we're going to make keychains. And they're real simple, but you got to pay strict attention. Okay. So I picked the thing. The instruction book was on my side and on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I would tell them, do this, do that, do this, do that. And they did it. And they made them. Then it was more.
But wait a minute. Let's go back. You said you didn't know anything about arts and crafts.
Nothing.
We talked about that. And this was your job.
Right.
Arts and crafts.
I can't even write. The worst handwriting in 10 generations. And I said the next thing was beads.
Beads?
Beads.
This was all in the same day?
Yeah, all in the same day. And you put these beads on these felt sticks. Mm-hmm. And they were beautiful, all kind of colors. And you that's how you made the clowns. Uh-huh. You put the beads on there, right? But after a while, not only did I make clowns, I made jewelry.
Oh, okay.
I take them beads home and I'd make necklaces and bracelets. And I thought that I was artiste.
Oh, you really thought you had turned into an artist?
Artist, and I could make jewelry and everything. So. And that's how I made the money to come.
That's how you made your ticket money. So you had to make ticket money for yourself and
my 4 children.
And your 4 children. Mm-hmm. So 5 tickets.
Right.
Okay.
So that was it. So what happens? We get to Dimona.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so was the trip over? I mean, plane ride, was it?
I didn't finish the most
Okay.
Most important thing is because they said they weren't going to let nobody else in there.
Okay.
And they was going to put the rest of the Hebrews out. Okay. This is the part I had to get to. That's one part. Before we left, because I was so worried. And I told Nasika, I said, they said they weren't going to let us in there. So I said, tell Ben-Ami. He did. And Ben-Ami sent me a message back. Said, don't worry about it. Said he'll send another kind of vehicle to get us. Now, that was the most important thing he could have said to me.
Okay.
Because I was a space buff. I love monsters and gorillas and spooks and spacemen and spaceships always.
You was ready for all of that.
I still love it, right? So one day, it's about a week after he had sent me that message, I found out later that he had also sent that same message to Atara Kaviva. Okay, who lived on the east side. She wasn't even inside at that time. Maybe she was, I just didn't know. No. But anyway, so me, Ima Agdia, Nasi Avidan, Marnina. Now, I was 7.
Okay. And she was the oldest?
She was the oldest.
Okay.
We ride down the street. And in Detroit, they have alleys.
They had alleys in Pittsburgh. I know what an alley is.
They had alleys, and the street we was riding down was storefronts, right? Then it was the regular residential area where the streets went that way. So we ride down the street. I look out the window. I see a spaceship. But I didn't tell nobody. So
why you didn't tell nobody?
Because I didn't want them to think I was crazy.
Right.
So somebody was driving. I think it was Atra Agdia's ex-husband. His name is Ovadia. And so anyway, I looked out at the window and I said, because it wasn't going away, I said, that's a spaceship. Pull over in the alley. They pull. And it's a funny thing that was the right group because they never thought I was crazy because they wouldn't have pulled over.
Right.
And we all jumped out. And this spaceship, big round saucer with windows all around it, black, coming down slow like this, deliberate. To make sure that we see. So it's hovering right over our head. It was huge, right over our head. And now I was there. She remembers. She was 7.
She remembers?
She remembers.
Wow.
She was 7. And Marnina remembered. And Imagdia, they remember. But so I didn't see no aliens, but I saw that. And it hovered over our head, just hovered. Made sure we got a good look. And then it went back up like this, but in a circular manner. Just went back up till it just disappeared. So then I was really convinced then because Abba had sent me the message saying that he was sent something else to get us. Now, so that's really how everything went in order for me to get here. You know, I was convinced, and then this king did a good job convincing me, but I was ready for that anyway. Now, my brother, Ariel, my oldest brother, he moved in the house with me, and Hasalem was, he's a gangster. My other brother, he didn't move. He wasn't going nowhere. That's what he wasn't
going nowhere.
He wasn't going nowhere till one day he come running to my house and not banging on the door, huffing and puffing. What's wrong with you, boy? He had a car accident coming from my house. He had a car accident, totaled that car. He got out the car, left it right there in the middle of the street, and ran all the way to my house. Said he going to.
He was convinced at that point.
Right. He said, I'm going to. So anyway, but the first one to go was Sipora.
Okay.
But then we had met her, and because she was in Pan-Africanism. And was Sipora. And she saw everything before we did.
So she came over here.
She came over to visit.
She came to visit
and see if what's right. She went back.
She came back to Detroit.
But my brother Abiel, my oldest brother, he was the first one that came and stayed.
Okay.
When she got back, he came. He didn't look back. No, he was gone. And the thing, that's where I met Sipor I heard her singing. She was at Ben Kayel's. That was another friend I had grew up with down the street from me. He joined. He joined because he was his friend. And anyway, Ben Zion, a bunch of people came after that.
Right.
So
you all came to Israel. Did y'all all come together at the same time?
not all those people I just named, but basically, no, I came with. Good thing you said it because I almost forgot. Ellis and all her kids.
How many children did she have at that time?
3, I think.
3?
The 2 boys and the girl.
Edna. Racayah Edna.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I don't even remember if Nasi was on that plane. Because I think he was. So all of us came. So we got to be like more than sisters. We not like sisters. We more than that.
Yeah, it's a family bond. It's a bond. It's like family. It's like sisters. It's like friends. It's like all of that.
Right. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
I never had no sister.
Right.
But if I've had one, it would be like her. And our backgrounds is exactly the same. Me and Ella's background.
Right. But as far as the singing and the music,
saying is growing up. We was around the corner from each other. We didn't know each other.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
And y'all sang in the same choir.
No. That's when we got grown.
Oh,
we knew grown. And my brother, Salem, he hang around with different people. And she was telling me one day while we was here that this deacon on the inside had this singing group with these 3 girls in, and they was fat. They could really sing. And I said, what?
Salem told you this?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, he told me to get me to go meet them.
Right. Okay.
But the funny thing, the man he didn't know I could sing a note. He had me come. He worked out of a restaurant on the east side. And he had Salem bring me there. And he told me one thing to do: stand up and turn around.
So we know what that was about.
Right.
He didn't care if you could sing or not.
He didn't know if I could sing or not. Ooh, your sister pretty. Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
He put me in the group. I auditioned. And then I heard him. We was in this big church. And he said, I heard him saying back, hey, she could sing, but she fine, but she can sing too. So Ellis was talking to me one day about this deacon. I forgot his name. And she auditioned for these 3 girls, and they was fat. I said, Ellis, on the east side? I can't think of their names or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And when she started falling out, I said, you was in that group too? She said, yeah, I got in that group too. We got so many things that connect me and her besides the music.
Right.
And so we came in together. We'll always be together.
Right.
And it was that was it.
That's how you got here.
That's how I got here.
And when you came, did you come directly to Dimona, or did you live in one of the other cities? You lived in Arad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Straight to Arad. And they made me a teacher. I couldn't teach nothing. So I told them I could teach arts and crafts. I had
something that you had acquired from that little job.
But you had to have the beads or something.
Right.
I had nothing. I got me some wire. I cut them in little pieces and a pair of pliers. And it was our son, Vane. And I don't forget who was in my class, a bunch of boys. And they thought I could teach them that. I had them making rings and bracelets.
And they really thought they was doing something.
Right. But see, so they made me the teacher of the arts and crafts. They made Sapor. She was the Gan. She taught Gan.
The kindergarten.
Yeah, kindergarten. Because she had went to college for teaching and stuff like that,
right.
So anyway, they decided that they needed her in Dimona to teach, because that's where the real school was.
Well, the bigger school.
Right.
Kids. At that point, were they at that time sending the children, like the younger children, like one age group went to another age group, went to Meets-Pay, and then another.
No, that ain't how they was doing that.
They wasn't doing it like that then.
They sent no teachers in Iraq. Meets-Pay had teachers because Imag Diad went there. They had teachers, Leah, and so they wanted to move Sipor because she could teach a high, be like a homeroom teacher, a higher grade.
Right.
And all they had left in Iraq was me, and which making them ugly bracelets and things I had them making that I know I was doing. They decided, Sephora told them I could teach Gan. But Gan is like opening a school because you had to have songs for them to sing and,
activities.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Little kids, it's a whole lot more.
This is I love this story because it was true. So they said, she came and told me, she said, Shavakiyah, I got to go to Dimona. And I don't know, she lived there. I think so. Lived there and teach the 5th and 6th grade. But they want you to teach kindergarten. I said, nope.
You said no?
Yeah, because I ain't know how to teach nobody nothing. And I said, because you got to make up stories.
Yeah.
So you got to be the most creative in the guy, right? So said, I can't do it. So I went to see Sir Amram.
Because he was at that time, he was
the head of
education.
the school.
Right.
So
and for those who may not know Sir Amram, he was the husband of Shavakiyah Davida, and that's his children of Kodabi. Who else?
And the boy,
I can't think of the other 2 names, but we'll get them.
So I went to him and I said, and he and I were close. I said, Sir Amram, I can't teach. I can't make up songs and all of that. I hadn't written no song. And because this was new. Right. So wasn't no songs written for this. You couldn't even get that many church songs and Let's Jesus Love. Right. So he said, I tell you what, you give me 1 month and then I get somebody else. I said, okay. I said, but what I'm going to teach him? Right. You'll think of something.
Oh, you'll think of something. He just left it on you.
Right. Because he ain't had nobody.
Right.
So I went home and I said, now in order to teach them, you got to know songs. So we used to sing Mary Had a Little Lamb or something like that. I said, but I ain't teach them none of them crazy songs. I said, I wonder, can I write a song? I'd never written a song before. I didn't know I could write. I wrote Your Time Is Now. That's the first song the first song I wrote was a Hebrew song. Melech haolam baruch atah, Melech haolam Yahweh, Melech haolam baruch atah, Yahweh, hallelujah. Toda rabah bishvil nasika shalom, Toda rabah bishvil nasika shalom, Toda rabah bishvil nasika shalom, Toda rabah Yahweh. Why, hallelujah, in Israel. I remember that song. I love that song.
Wow. You wrote that for the children?
First song I wrote, period.
Wow.
So,
y'all heard it here first.
Because I ain't singing no more. And so, then I wrote, we used to do that song, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Hebrews, 4 little, 5 little, 6. I did that. And then, but the first song I wrote was Your Time Is Now.
I remember you and Dodah singing that song.
Right. I love that song. That's a very great song. And that's when I knew I really could write. But the reason I couldn't write, I really was a writer. But when I was in kindergarten, in school, and we just coming out of the, past kindergarten, 1st grade, you coming out of Mary Had a Little Lamb and all that stuff. And the teacher told us to go to write, they wanted us to write 10 poems on a snowflake. Well, I chose, you could choose whatever you want to, a snowflake. That's what I wrote about. So I went to the library. If I read one, I read 25 poems about snowflakes. And then I didn't read no more, then I went and wrote my own, right? So when we took the papers back to our teacher, she was marking everybody, and then you get A was excellent, and then, but E was terrible.
Terrible. And they always did it in red.
Right. So everybody, she passed the papers back,
She didn't give you no E, Dodah.
Wait, when I got up to the desk, she said, you all right? And I said, yeah. That, your poem was awesome, excellent. And I gave you an A. A was number 1. Then she scratched it off and gave me an E.
Why?
She said, you couldn't have written this. She said, it's too good.
Spirit.
You couldn't. She broke it until I started teaching kindergarten here. She broke my spirit. She said, you couldn't. I said, but she said, no, you did not write this. She said it was too good. So I hadn't written anything.
From then until
Your Time Is Now.
Until Sir Amram said, you'll figure it out.
That's it. Until he
gave you your
right.
Your
he gave
courage
me
back.
my life. He did. And I tell Abishai, because she didn't know. Said Abishai, but if it wasn't for your father, I wouldn't be singing right now. So anyway, that's how I got here. And then I taught for a long time. We learned Hebrew. I got married, and for the first time. Then I moved to Dimona? No, I always stayed in the ride, even when we got the award support, and I did.
So at what point did the Angelettes come into being?
Right then, in a ride. My mother and I got together one day, and she said, because, she was the head of relaxation. She taught everybody how to massage. And so I said, Ima, why don't we do something special for the brothers? That's how we got brothers today.
Oh, okay.
And so she said, well, what we can do? I said, well, we'll do songs, and we'll do they feed nans, because by then she had started relaxation. It was mandatory.
You're right. I remember when those were mandatory.
So we had to go. This is the first Brothers' Day. In a ride, we invited all the brothers up, but me, Nebuna, Sipora, and Ima Maxima.
Okay.
So we decided we were going to get a singing group, and for the affair we was going to get them, we was going to sing. And that's how the Angelettes got started, because it started with all of us.
Oh, it was all of you all in this?
Was in there. We called the Angelettes then.
You, Ima Maxima, Dodah Sipora, and who's the other person?
I'm
Nibuna.
But it ended up just me and Sipora.
Right.
I don't quite see why, how, but it did. I think because we were more flexible. I don't know. Anyway, so it ended up being, and Shavakiyah named us the Angelettes. And he named us the Angelettes. Let's see, what was the first song we did? I don't know. But we got together, and we were the Angelettes. We still are, though we not singing.
Right.
That wasn't our doing, but it was the Angelettes, and we made those songs that we recorded on the albums and all that.
And that's when you all started performing with
the Soul Messengers.
The Soul Messengers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did.
You didn't?
Sipora.
Oh, she started?
She started performing with them. I didn't. But I don't even remember how. Oh, I know why I didn't. I was pregnant. So I didn't start going right out. It was just her. First, it was Marnina and the Soul Messenger. Just Marnina first.
Wow. Okay.
And then she directed the choir in Beisefa Maku.
Right. The Kingdom School in Holiness.
Right.
She was the choir director. Yes.
And then Sipora went, and she started, she's an awesome jazz singer. So she went on, but when after I had my baby, Abba Gadol said, bye.
Time
I was finna
go make some money.
No, we didn't make no money.
No. I know. Yeah, but the Soul Messengers band made money for the community.
Right.
It wasn't like every individual got paid.
Right.
Yeah. That was
we didn't get paid.
That was one of the main sources of income for the community for years.
Right. So, and then after a while, Nasi Kiskiao came home one day, and he told us our name was the Angelettes. I love that. But I changed that. I said, that's good. And I said, by then I was getting kind of spiritual. And I said, our name is going to be the High Priestess. My name is going to be the High Priestess of Soul.
High Priestess of Soul.
And Support said, name me. I said, okay, you the High Priestess of Sound. And she is.
The High Priestess of Soul and the High Priestess of Sound.
Okay. And so we went on for years. She joined, Sabson got her a job because I was pregnant.
Again.
And got her job singing with the Michael Greenblatt.
I remember. I watched that performance before. Right.
And so she was working all the time with them. I wasn't working. But then when she got pregnant, then they needed me.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I was just tag team.
It was like that. But I was working in a lot singing. And Navi, I think he was working there with me. But he needed me. They needed me. So I had to go out and start singing. By then, my husband he didn't want me to go.
He didn't want you to sing?
No. And he had to go ask Abba, because he said he didn't think that I should go for whatever reason. And he went and asked Abba. And Abba said, I sent her. And he was talking about how I got the A lot. He said, but I sent her, so that meant I was finna sing. And that's how we got to singing around here. We've been singing in some capacity until now.
And you're still singing.
Not
as much.
Mm-mm.
Not moving around as much as you used to.
No, not all, because I end up being an agent.
Oh, okay.
I've been an agent. I was a good agent. Saints made money, worked
So
a
you
lot.
were an agent for other performers
Everybody.
in the kingdom, in the community.
White people too.
Oh, okay. You had Israelis as well?
Right,
Okay.
everything.
Right.
Everything.
Did you all perform somewhere, something with the Eurovision or going into that at some point?
Right here. That's what I brought for you to see. This is an article that some sister wrote. She came here for Passover.
Okay.
And
okay.
This is me, and this is my Israeli partner that I got later on, right? And he's my brother. Now we're just one
and
person.
The band was called From the Other Side.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And that's Elisheva. On the one picture, Elisheva and Nava and Racayah. Not Kitana.
It's Kaya.
Yeah, Kaya singing behind us. And the song, I asked him to write a song for my birthday. He wrote 1,000 songs, I said, but you never wrote nothing. Everything was for me and him.
Right.
He said, okay.
Something for yourself.
Right. And he wrote that, and I wrote the words. And there people loved it. Little kids loved it. But it was a powerful, powerful song.
I wish I had read this before the interview, but in any event, okay.
And so we was on TV, and we didn't win.
Right.
We almost win. They weren't going to let us win.
Oh, I'm finding the paragraph now. The song was called A New Day.
Right.
Okay, it was Eurovision. And like you say, you didn't win, but the people thought you should have won.
Hey. They made him stand behind me. They were so mad at him. They told him to stand behind me because he brought me. He brought me, and you brought somebody that they knew. I taught them in school.
Right.
That's what some of the judges said. I can use to teach me in high school, then you taught me in college. So, the judges.
So they knew you.
Right. So he wasn't supposed to bring me. You know what I'm saying?
That was like cheating. You bringing a professional.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And that was like, and we already like her.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They told him he had to stand 10 feet 10 feet behind me. You couldn't stand next to her. I said, what? He almost cried. Because he been waiting. He's a very awesome guitarist and singer. And he been waiting, and he got us that job.
Yeah, he hooked it up.
Right.
And then they want to put him in the back.
Right.
Don't even let him.
Right. But then I said, but then I might be singing this song. I said, but he wrote the music and I wrote the words.
Right.
You can't do that.
Right.
You understand? But it didn't even matter because we brothers and sisters
right.
still is today. They didn't turn vegetarians and everything.
Right.
So this was a good thing that we had and did that, But it didn't. We was where we were, and it didn't take us no further. No further. It wasn't going to take us. But the saints love this song. It's about the coming days, Okay. And so that's how I got started. I'm not an agent right now, because I got stepped back for a minute because I had to do something in my personal life, bring that up to par. But that was, I'm blessed. I'm blessed because anytime you can be given a gift and from the God that created you, and one day you down on the floor and the next day you standing tall, you have to just say hallelujah.
Yep.
Hallelujah. Yep. But I heard something. I have to bring this, one of my favorite songs in the world, that you wrote it. I said, what?
You didn't know I wrote that? Well, Imam Maxima sang it all the time.
No, I know that because we had got into a spirit because of that song and singing it with an African feel to the song because of that song. Mm-hmm. She sung it for me. Then I started writing songs like that.
Right.
But when I don't know who told me that you wrote it, you didn't tell me.
No, what happened is recently on one of the WhatsApp groups, somebody asked for the words. Might have been a Coat Me Tall from Meatspay, asked for the words.
Mm-hmm.
The song that Imam Maxima wrote, and I put in there, and I wrote all the words out, and I put it in there, and I said, I wrote the song, I gave it to Imam Maxima, because we were living together at the time.
Right.
We were all living in the same house,
Right.
Buy It 400. And so, and everybody was like, you wrote that song? I was like, yep, I wrote it.
What's
I
the
sang
name
it
of
for
it?
her. Little Country.
There's a little country called Dimona. I love that song. I said, what? I think I was in Africa when I found out somebody told me you wrote that song. I said,
and I wrote another song. No, I didn't write the song. You wrote the song. I made a game off of it. Remember that song when you sang, if you want to be saved, you got to run to the rock? I love that song.
Yeah.
So I made a game off of it for my children. And when you got to a certain point, you had to sing the song. Like when you won, you had to sing the song. Bitsy
Sure.
reminded me that I had made that game. But I got that the concept of the game came from your song.
Well, that's a plan. I love that song, Run to the Rock. We sung it this Passover. The kids, I'm talking about the grown kids, made it like we was, what's his name? One of them big time singers, they was screaming and hollering. They came up to the stage later on. They said, Dodah, to hear y'all sing Run to the Rock. We ain't, and I couldn't even remember the word.
Right.
I couldn't.
We got some history. We got some things that when you hear or feel or do dances, songs, events, activities, it just pulls that. I mean, it's an energy and a feeling that, wow.
Well, that made sense to me when I said, she wrote that. I love that song.
Yeah.
That really started me thinking on that calypso feel of songs. I wrote another one I can't remember. And we started talking like that. Hey, where have you been? You know what? Because Abba told us to. He told the entertainers, if you want to get into the African film music, you got to talk like that.
Right. Get that feel.
But whoever was charging entertainers, and the one Shavakiyah made us stop. They went and told them we had went crazy. Because with me and even my son, y'all just like that.
Y'all took it to the extreme.
Right. We said, no, that's what I was saying, dude, to get the accent.
Right. So Dodah, you've been here for like over 50 years at
Right.
this point. So I know, in life we have our ups, we have our downs, we have the good, we have the bad. Share some of your happiest times and some of your challenging times and how you came to deal with those things. Happiest, funniest, most memorable.
I went to Miss Pay. I was on Onish. But that's the funniest thing because I was on Onish and I really didn't know what I did. But Abba sent me there. And he treated me like a queen. I couldn't go.
I was on Onish, but treated you like a queen.
Yes, what do I mean by that? He said I couldn't go nowhere without asking him first. I mean, calling him me. I called him on the phone.
Now, that was back in the day when we didn't have cell phones.
No, we didn't have cell phones.
And we had, were we still in the Shikun then?
Yeah. No, we weren't in the
We were on the Kifar. But it was still only one phone on the Kifar.
I don't know where we were. No, we were on the Kifar.
On the Kifar, it still was only one phone in the temple.
Right.
That one phone.
So everywhere, he told me everywhere I go, everywhere I wanted to go, I had to call and ask him first. I said, it's the strangest Onish. So I was living in Mispay. So when I got ready to, if I wanted to go to the Arab market, I don't care where, I had to call and ask them first. If I wanted to go to Dimona, because it was Sister's Day, I had to call and ask them first. But the big shots, and they would say I couldn't go. I said,
so I'm going to call and ask.
Right. So anyway, so I get to that. So they made me a school teacher.
In Mitzpeh.
They made me an art teacher. That's the craziest thing. But you know what the most wonderful thing was? By then,
you knew how to do some art.
I could draw. They couldn't believe it. Ima Agdia made me the art teacher because they didn't have one. I said, I can't draw. So I started drawing stuff. And I can't draw now, but I could draw then. I drew everything. I drew Abogado. He was at the phone in my house, and I drew while he was on the phone talking. I drew a Navia, and I called it the Crown Brother. We didn't have no Crown Brothers then.
Okay.
I drew my brother. I could draw anything. So I go to teach the 5 and 6 year old. I love this story. Yah has given me so much. And I said, okay. I didn't want to be the art teacher, but she made me be Imagdiya. Okay, so my 5 and 6 year old. So I said, okay, draw a tree. I knew that couldn't be hard.
Right.
Although I wasn't able to draw no tree, but I said that couldn't be hard. So They drew their trees and they had them trees, and the ugliest trees up there had purple fruit and all.
No, that wasn't ugly. That was imagination.
No, they was ugly. I said, get up. We went outside, right outside of Kettle Kill in Mispay.
But in
And
this case, it was called Keranitsa.
Right. And so they had a Benzion had planted a tree right outside of there. It's still there. And I took them out there. What? Look at that bark. What color is that? This brown. What color is the leaves? Green. Go in there and grow the trees. And then I realized something, because I'm like a child. I said, but if you don't, it wasn't enough just to teach them to draw, which I would have never been able to do, the mechanics. But the value in when you look at something, being able to put it down on a piece of paper, that's what I had to get over to them.
Right.
Okay. So what I did was I locked myself in the Ketanitsakon. They had one room that they taught the guy, and it had books with lions on it and the jungle and all that. Now, I locked myself in there, pushed the key under the door, and told, I don't know, it was Shavakiyah who don't let me out till I can put a piece of paper under there that looked like something. But I mean, I couldn't even write. I'm telling you, I still can't write. But anyway, so I locked myself, and then it was a book, storybook about the jungle. But it had a lion in it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to draw no lion in the jungle. Maybe I could draw them trees. Right. So I got it, and I got some crayons. I put that book in front of me. I put this paper in front of me, and I started drawing. I said, that looked good to myself. The colors was rich. What happened was the school teachers came to conference in Mispay. I didn't know they was there. So Dodah was there. Ima, what's the name? The principal.
Ima Yonina?
No, the principal of the school. Ima, they live in Tovachi's house now.
Dodah Shira.
Yeah, Dodah Shira was there because she was the head of school.
Right.
So she brought them up there. And I didn't know I couldn't teach because I was on Onish.
Oh, okay.
So, but before I got through teaching, them kids, because they drew trees up in the heavens with stars hanging from them and everything. The parents, because I had a showing of but they couldn't believe it. The parents said, ain't no way. So anyway,
how long did you stay locked in Ketanitsakon before they let you out?
About 3 hours. So Dodah was there. The thing that when I drew my jungle and everything with the lines in it, it looked so good to me. I said, this look good. I did that. So I went up to his room where he was staying. I said, Dodah, can I talk to you? Shavakiyah, what you want? I said, I want to show you something. I want you to tell me whether it's good or not. So I gave him the paper. He looked at it. It was on line paper. Definitely. So that's this way. But I drew it this way. Sideways. So what it gave it a three-dimensional look. You could look inside.
Right.
I didn't know. He said, Shavakiyah, who drew this? I said, why? He said, this is really good. And he the one told me about the line. Said, because it's on line paper, it looked like you could step inside of it. It didn't I couldn't draw that lion. It was too much control.
Right.
But the jungle and the mountains behind it, I did. And he said, who drew this? I said, who you think drew it? He said, I don't know. I said, me. He got on the floor, laughing, rolling around. He said, Shavakiyah, you can't even write. And he my handwriting is terrible. The whole world know that.
I know that.
He said, Shavakiyah, you didn't know. No, you didn't. He looked at this again. He said, this look like you can walk inside this jungle. I said, I did. That's how I was able to draw it. I had to go inside of it. And he said, this is excellent. This is excellent. So then they didn't let me teach. I could draw anything. I could look at a picture. I drew avocado. I drew a Navia. And when the Navia seen the picture, say, just like me. But you got crown brother over there. I say, well, maybe you're going to be a crown brother. And that crown in that year, they made him a crown brother. Wow. So I've been given so much, I can't turn away from none of this because I've been given so much. I remember I was on phone duty and I was in the Dimona then, and he says, by then I came home. I was living in Racayah and Dimona, both of them. And so somebody had called on the phone for him. So I was on phone duty. So I went to the Rock to give him the message. And Ima Yonina, she was on duty with him. So I said, I got a message to Abba. She said, I don't know, Shabbat. She had me so scared. I said, I shouldn't have brought it. But I'm on phone duty. I'm not giving his message. It took about an hour to knock on the door.
She was scared to knock on the door.
And it had me scared. Abba came to the door. I said, Abba. I had to bring it because he said it's important, and Abba just cracking up. He said, yeah, because you sure can't write. And I say, and you can't even. Me, him, and got the worst handwritings in the universe.
I used to love Abba's handwriting when he would send those messages back.
No.
I was always sending something in, but I thought his handwriting was like, it was very neat.
No. I said, you can't write either. He write. He knew it too. But anyway, in school and I haven't drawn anything for a long, long, long time. And because that was really a gift, it's given me so many gifts, so many gifts.
Don't take those things for granted.
I can't because that's all I had nothing I gave me. I had something that he gave me. And I knew, I can't write. But anyway, I've been given so much, and I think it's just so I can say, yeah, I live.
Do you think that's what motivates you? One of the questions on here is, what motivates you? Do you think that is part of what motivates you?
That's everything.
That's everything.
Because I didn't think about being nothing. I wasn't trying to be a singer. I hadn't gotten that far in my brain, to be nothing like that. So whatever I am, I'm directed to that. I'm directed and given the gift. You understand? And it's not that I wake up one morning and I'm a great ballerina. I'm given the instructions to learn how to do this.
And you follow those instructions.
Right.
And go ahead and make that happen.
Right.
Okay. So our youth, what advice would you give to the youth today? Let me ask it like this. How do you envision our youth in regards to them continuing what we spent our lives building and being a part of?
That's an excellent question. I really don't know. I feel like this whole thing is something that you have to realize yourself. You have to make your own. It's not nothing that your parents can give you.
Right. You have to make the choice for yourself.
You have to meet Yah on the road.
Right.
It's something I bet you every person got an experience. You have to meet. I'll tell you something was really important for me. When I first came, in high school, I wasn't that much of a dancer, but I got to be one. I had a dance troupe. And for my grade in high school, I danced to, we danced with long skirts and headpieces. Now, I don't know about no kingdom.
Right.
And we'd be flying through the air, and the song was Exodus.
Exodus.
And that's A-Lee.
That's A-Lee.
This land is mine. God gave this land to me. It's Exodus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the Exodus song from, I'm thinking you're talking about Exodus Bob Marley.
No.
But you're talking about the Exodus song from a movie soundtrack, wasn't it?
Exodus.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And that was the song. We had long dresses. We had headpieces. I was a teenager. Just finna graduate out of high school, So that song been with me all the time. But when I got here, what made me interested, I used to go in the mountains and sing that song.
Who wrote A-Lee?
Abba.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Abba wrote A-Lee.
Okay.
So, but Ima Maxima used to not Ima Maxima, Ima Batsion used to tear it up.
The Ima Batsion, the Mishadai's Ima Batsion.
She used to tear it up.
Sing that? She was the first person to sing it?
She's the first person to sing it.
I didn't know that.
And Nasi Racayah and Catriella was getting married.
And she sang it at their wedding?
She sang it at their wedding, and I heard it. Then I went back to my high school days, and I said, wow, I love that song. So I would go in the mountains, and I would sing it.
I don't think nobody sing it like Cohen Ben Kesset.
No.
Don't know.
No, he can't.
I know he came on that song.
Right.
For sure.
He sung that song.
He sang that song.
Of that song was me.
Okay.
Because I would put it in me. He didn't just give me a song saying, this is I'm going to tell you a story. So I've been here for a long time, and I hear it. All I remember was, hey, Lee, baby. I came up to a ride. Nobody knew I was going in the mountains singing that song. And Abba said, he sent it for me and Sipora. And he said, no, it's this song that, just I said to, it's this song, Angelettes. When I'm looking for someone, and I've tried some of everybody to teach them this, and I don't think Ben Kessler was here then. Right. And he wasn't. And I don't know, but it's like A-Lee. That's the name of it. And, and I started singing. Mm-hmm. He said that. See, Boy didn't know because I didn't tell him.
Right, because you was going off on your own.
Right. And he said, Shavakiyah, what? How did you learn that song? I explained the same thing that I did to you. I said, I love that song more than any song. And he said, well, I tried all the groups, everybody.
That was on yours at the Angelettes album.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, I tried everybody and they couldn't do it. I want you all to, Shavakiyah, you already got it. So, teach it to Sipora. And I had to teach the Soul Messenger.
I forgot that y'all sang that.
Yeah, and so
y'all did.
And he said, so we sung it, and Abba would say, we have to take it to him. We record it with the band. I gave the instructions to the band on how to do it because he was teaching me. He called me to his bedroom in the morning, and he'd tell me everything how he wanted. He taught me every word, everything. And so I would go back to the band and teach them, no, you can't play it like this, because he tell me.
Right. He told you exactly how he wanted it done.
He said, then we got to the last day. I didn't know it was the last day, but it ended up being the last day. He said, I want you to know this. That song is like a weapon of war. And if you can get this song, that's your weapon of war. And he told me a bunch of stuff. So when I went back to the band, we was at the Racayah Talbot, and they opened up the back doors on the Bama, and the birds were singing, and the sun was shining. It looked like a movie. And when I looked out of there, I said, when we do it this time, this going to be it. Because the sun looked like y'all had painted everything. And there was one more clue he gave me. He said, this is the last clue, Shavakiyah. This song is supposed to cause to jump off the top of the trees, because when they hear you sing it, they're going to know that Yah lives. And it's supposed to cause their heartstrings to bust. They told me the exact words. So we went there. Shaul was there. He played. And Ellie.
Point Shaul?
Yeah. You forgot he used to be in the Soul Messengers.
That's right. I did forget that.
Yeah.
I did.
So I forget sometimes. And then, so we did the song. And I said, by what was going on outside, I was playing the picture, I said, this is it to myself. Because I had to take the cassette in there and let Abba approve it, disapprove it, tell me how to do this. He's
from an Exodus Bob Marley.
No.
But you talk about the Exodus song from a movie soundtrack, wasn't it?
Exodus.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And that was the song. We had long dresses. We had headpieces. Mm-hmm. I was a teenager, just finna graduate out of high school, So that song been with me all the time. But when I got here, what made me interested, I said, go in the mountains and sing that song.
Mm-hmm. Who wrote A-Lee?
Abba.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Abba wrote A-Lee.
Okay.
So, but Imam Maxima used to tear it. Not Imam Maxima. Imam Batsion used to tear it up.
The Imam Batsion, the Mishadai's Imam Batsion.
She used to tear it up.
Sing that? She was the first person to sing it?
She's the first person to sing it.
I didn't know that.
And Nasi Racayah and Catriella was getting married.
And she sang it at their wedding?
She sang it at their wedding, and I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went back to my high school days, and I said, wow, I love that song. Mm-hmm. So I would go in the mountains, and I would sing it.
I don't think nobody sing it like Cohen Ben Kesset.
No.
Don't know.
No, he came later.
He came. I know. He came much later, but he put his stamp on that song.
Right.
For sure.
He sung that song.
He sang that song.
Of that song was me.
Okay.
Because Abba put it in me. He didn't just give me a song saying, this is up and tell you a story. So I've been here for a long time, and I hear it. All I remember was Ailey, that's all I could sing, right? But I loved it. It was here about 3 years, 4 years, 5 maybe. Abba came up to a ride. Nobody knew I was going in the mountains singing that song, you know. And Abba said, you know, he sent for me and Sipora. And he said, no, it's this song that, just like I said, to, you know, it's a song, Angelettes, that when I'm looking for someone, and I've tried some of everybody, you know, to teach them this. And I don't think Ben Kessler was here then. Right. And he wasn't. And I don't, you know, I don't know, but it's like Ailey, you know, that's the name of it. And, you know, and I started singing. He said, what? He said that. See, Paul didn't know because I didn't tell her.
Right, because you was going off on your own.
Right. And he said.
You have to speak up.
Oh, he said, Shavakiyah, what? How did you learn that song? I explained the same thing that I did to you. I said, I love that song more than any song. And he said, well, I tried all the groups, everybody. And
that was on yours at the Angelettes album.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, I tried everybody, and they couldn't do it. I want you all to, Shavakiyah, you already got it. So, you know, teach it to C4. And I had to teach the Soul Messenger.
I forgot that y'all sang that.
Yeah, and so
y'all did.
And he said, so we sung it, and Abba would say, we have to take it to him. We recorded with the band. I gave the instructions to the band on how to do it because he was teaching me. He called me to his bedroom in the morning, and he'd tell me everything how he wanted. He taught me every word, everything. And so I would go back to the band and teach them, no, you can't play it like this, play it like this, because he tell me.
Right. He told you exactly how he wanted it done.
He said, then we got to the last day. I didn't know it was the last day, but it ended up being the last day. He said, Shavakiyah, I want you to know this. That song is like a weapon of war. And if you can get this song, that's your weapon of war. And he told me a bunch of stuff. So when I went back to the band, we was at the Haycala Talbot, and they opened up the back doors on the Bama, and the birds were singing, and the sun was shining. It looked like a movie. And when I looked out there, I said, when we do it this time, this is gonna be it, because the sun looked like y'all had painted everything. And there was one more clue he gave me. He said, this is the last clue, Shavakiyah. This song is supposed to cause the heathen to jump off the top of the trees. Because when they hear you sing it, they're going to know that Yah lives. And it's supposed to cause their heartstrings to bust. They told me the exact words. So we went there. Shaul was there. He played. And Ellie.
Playing Shaul?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You forgot. He used to be in the Soul Messengers.
That's right. I did forget that.
Yeah.
I did.
So I forget sometimes. And then, so we did the song. And I said, by what was going on outside, you know, like I was playing picture, I said, this is it, to myself. Because I had to take the cassette in there and let Abba approve it, disapprove it, tell me how to do this. He said, one thing for sure, Shavakiyah, don't you sing the main verse, let Sipora sing. And I said, why? He said, because she can sing Hebrew. You can't. That's what he said at first. The verses,
Right,
the words,
right.
and all that. And
See, you're going to make me have to go back and listen to it. I'm going to have to call Bakoria, send me a copy of it.
right,
Because
right,
now I want to hear it again.
right. And so he said, so Sipporah did all of it. That's the first, only argument me and Sipporah ever had over that song.
Because you wanted to sing it and she wanted to sing it. Okay.
No, because he was giving me instructions.
Oh, okay.
And I had to tell
and
her.
You had to tell everybody.
Right. And they weren't used to me doing that. I wasn't used to me doing it.
Right.
The musicians, everything. I had to tell them everything. And so we was finna go, and there was this Hasidic man there. He's religious. And he asked Elihu, who is she? Who was I? And he said, her name is Shavakiyah. He said, mm-hmm. He walked up to me and he said, he grabbed me. They don't touch you.
Right.
He grabbed me and shook me. He said, you make my heartstring bust. That's the exact words.
The exact words that Abba had said.
Exact words. You make my heartstring bust. And I knew it was it. So when I took the cassette, I sent it in there to him. I didn't hear nothing. You didn't hear a pin drop. He played that song. He opened that door. He was blasted it. He said he came out Shavakiyah more than 100%. So that's how, but it's one thing, and I tell Ben Kesset all the time, he can sing it, but I would never taught him because at the end it says Huechat, right? That's big. When you get it, you'll hear it. Huechat. The only one sang that is me and Sipporah. Ben Kesset don't sing. He never sings. I have to tell him Abba didn't teach him that. And as I told Ben Kesset, he said, now Abba said, you got to say Huechat because that's what all this is about.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day, yeah.
So that's how we got to sing that
wow
thing. And then I did it for this old lady. We was going in this nightclub where we was working, me and Sipporah, and we walked in, we sat in the hallway, and this old lady started whispering to this other old lady, about 80. I don't know what they were saying. That lady said, come here. Told me to come there. Said, was you the woman that was singing that in that song, Ailey? Said, yeah. And she grabbed me. No, she told her friend. She said, that's what I was telling you about this. Tell me about her. She grabbed me. She shook me. She said, how could you sing that song? You Jewish? I said, yeah, you can say that. She said, you got to be Jewish. There's no way that you could sing that song. And then this church from Sweden came in and asked us to sing a Negro song. That's what they said. Nigger.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. Sang us one of them nigger songs.
I
said, yes, boss. And it was me and Shaul. So I said, sure, and I got through playing that. Them people was crying. But I seen them two old ladies walk in. They wasn't with that church. And they walked in. That was the same two ladies out of there. Abba said, that's your weapon of war.
That's your weapon of war.
And this is one more story about that, which is very important. When we was in the other side band, with Michael Greenblatt.
Right, Michael Greenblatt.
We was rehearsing, and I told them, Shavakiyah, what song you going to sing? I want to sing Ailey. So Michael Greenblatt said, no, we ain't, the people ain't going to like it. They ain't going to want you to sing that song. And so he asked Itai, the bass player, ain't that right? And Itai said, yeah, but he didn't say it with his heart. I knew that song was powerful.
Right.
But Michael Greenblatt knew it was powerful too, but he didn't want us to sing.
Right.
So I quit the band.
You quit?
I got up. I left them there, Sipporah, whoever was there, I left. I said that I won't sing no song. If I can't sing this song, I'm not singing no song. So Michael Green followed me to my house, Michael Greenblatt, and he called me. I've been trying to sleep. He was taking the hopsy. I can't sleep. So I'm
that was his fault. That wasn't.
Don't you never, never raise me up if you don't. And if you, went against me, so I didn't go against you. I just was for what Robbie said. I said, if I can't sing that song, I'm not singing any song. So he called me back. He said, so you can sing that song, but let me tell you what it did. But don't you ever ask me to sing it again in my whole life. You hear me? I said, okay. He didn't either, because so we had a show in a ride and for the ride municipality for the city. And I said, I want to sing it. He didn't want me to, but he said, okay. And he said, but you sing it first. That was the wrong decision. for him to put me first.
Mm-hmm.
It was a group called the Committee Against the Black Hebrews. So we went to a ride to the Olam and the ride, and it was a whole row of about 12 people in the front. They had big giant song, the Committee Against the Black Hebrews. They were going to picket us, Michael and them, because we were Herzliyah's city band.
Right.
So they knew about us, you know. Herzliyah's city band fired us. They made them put pressure on.
They put pressure on them.
So the first song they was gonna hear was Eli. So I got up there and I sung it. Them people took them signs.
Sang it a cappella?
No, with the band.
The band when he get played?
Right. Mm-hmm. The man was gonna play it. He wasn't gonna stop them. They put them signs down and they crawled out of that room. They was on the front row, 12 people.
Yeah, 12 folks got up out of there.
Giant
weapon of war
on image. You know what I'm saying? That's why that song is so important to me. One time I forgot the words, and obviously don't worry about it.
Long as you say who is God, that's the most you can.
He said, "Don't even worry about it."
Nothing else.
I never will forget. I work at support did the most beautiful Hebrew work on that, and
I used to love the way the melody would weave. Like, y'all would be in between,
like you're on the cloud almost. You know?
Yeah, it'll take you a place. It'll take you a place.
But when me and Ben Kessler and Sipor sang it together, that's when that song is sung. We sang it together. Did you ever see the show we had on television with the choir?
No.
I got to make sure you forget that. It's the whole choir.
I've never seen the three of you all perform it together.
We were in the choir. The choir was the whole band.
I definitely like to see that.
You ain't seen that. They show it every cog in Israel. Every cog for years. They've been showing.
Wow.
And so I'm gonna make sure I don't have a copy of it, but
it'll get to us.
It'll get to it.
Yeah, put it out there. We'll get it.
But anyway, getting back to this whole thing, that's why what you're doing to me is so very important. And that from the time you left my house, it stayed with me all this time, because we do need. We got the Bible, and that's good. But this is the new Bible, because the teachings are going to change. They're not going to be the same, because we didn't grow up and we didn't have nothing to contribute like that. But now we do.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, it's so important to me, Dodah, because of the fact that, you know, when you look back over history, they always say history is written by he who wins, the conqueror, you know. But our history, you know, 100 years from now, these stories have to be told. You know, these stories have to be known. Our children have to know, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. There's so much that they don't know about this journey that we have been on, this part of our life experience. And they need to know. You know, you don't know who it might inspire.
I know that. From when you came to my house, I know that. Because I said, see, this is needed. You might think that you're on the short end of the stick, but sometimes Yah is saving you for the latter days. He's saving you for the latter days, and you have more to contribute than you know. I'm learning that now about me. I'm just now knowing.
That's because as long as you remain open and you keep living, you're going to find out more and more and more. And so as we get ready to close out, is there anything, any goal, any vision, anything that you have not done yet or accomplished that you would like to do in your life?
You know, I didn't consider myself a spiritual person, but I really didn't know what that was. I can see that now when my life is turning out. Yeah, I must know the truth about all of this, all of it. Because I see by meeting these people that I met in Ghana that it's a lot more, and you think it's left and it'll be right. So I pray that I can see, I can get it. If I'm faced with the truth, that I'll know it was the truth. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people, I'm not judgmental. I can't. I got too many things I got to know about myself. And people teach me. They teach me about me. They teach me. I learned so much in the last 2 years. I'm just, that's why, and when we did that at my house, I said, we need this, because it forces you to go over. You can't stop. You got to go over it in your head. You got to remember. I remember something. I was sleeping in my bed, and I was a young lady, and something whispered in my ear. I remember that. It scared the mess out of me. But can't nobody tell me that didn't happen.
Right.
Now I'm understanding what that was. Not exactly, but I know that was Yah trying to comfort me. I know Nava, when she was a baby, she was 3 months. I went downstairs to cook or wash dishes in the morning, and I heard something in my head say, I went running back upstairs. I was in Detroit. I looked in my bed, big old bed like you got in there. Wasn't no, my daughter wasn't there. Nava. She was 3 months. She couldn't walk.
She couldn't get up and walk off on her own.
Don't. I sat there on the bed and I said, where's my thought came to me? Pull the bed out. Now, my bed, this is the wall. My bed was, you couldn't even put your hand through there.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pull the bed out. How could she? She wasn't but 3 months old. She couldn't even crawl. How did she get there? Dodah, I pulled the bed out. I reached down the box springs and the mattress.
Mm-hmm.
She was underneath the mattress, laying on the back. I pulled her out. She was blue. You know, when they call
Right,
blue. When they can't, you suffocate.
Yeah.
She was blue. I didn't know what to do. But I remembered that in school we had been learning artificial respiration.
Mm-hmm.
So I breathed the breath of air, and I breathed it, and I breathed, and she came.
Wow.
Then I went to sleep. She was crying and like this. And something shifted on me and I threw her into her bed. She didn't cry. She didn't nothing. So those kind of things has been happened to me all my life. I didn't understand and no one in my family was spiritual.
Right.
And if they was, they wasn't saying nothing.
Right.
You know, all my experience I had myself. You understand what I'm saying? So it's so much to learn, but my advice is to pay attention to everything. Take nothing for granted.
Take nothing for granted.
Not even a glass of water.
Right.
Don't take nothing for granted like this house. This is probably why you couldn't finish this. You have to have an environment. You have to be comfortable. You have an environment where you have control and you had to have this. This is what you had to have. And then you bring your daughter, who I love, your daughter and her things is into. This is really fantastic to me. This is a step up.
Todah. Todah.
It is. You found your niche. You on your
yeah,
way to your niche.
Yeah.
But right now, we don't have that.
Right. I'm very passionate about this. And, you know, it's something that has to be done. It has to
It ain't,
be
no,
done.
you can't get around.
I can't get around it. I can't walk away from it. I think about, you know, Harriet Tubman. She had to do what she had to do. I don't have a choice. I have to do this.
Right.
You know, and when this season is over of my journey, this part of what I have to do is done, because there's other things that I've done in the past that I had to do. I was compelled to do. When this is done, then if there's something else for me to do, then I'll do that. But it's all about my family and my people, you know. So.
Again, this is it. I'm telling you, this is this information. Because maybe 2 years from now, I won't remember none of this. You understand? I'll be somewhere else. But that's something that the children can look back at. And some of the people that don't even know you can look back and see, well, how did she make it through this and that? Because we ain't got time to sit around and tell these stories.
Right.
We got too much to do.
Right.
But this right here, I'm really proud of this. Really, 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 really. Proud this. This is big.
Todah.
It's big. And now you didn't move. Instead of giving up, you just took it up higher.
Yeah. Go to the next level.
Yeah. I understand now by meeting them people in Ghana that I have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Because as soon as this man saw me, he told my brother, go, your wife, put the Queen Mother clothes on her and bring her here. I took Eliel, Atur, Benor, and Yasai to meet this man.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, they were thrilled.
Really?
They were thrilled. He didn't talk about, but he talked about the seventh heaven, and they were very impressed. Very. And Nasiga went too. And my brother told me he talks to him all the time about me. Because when he comes down off the mountain, where it's like 6,000 people up there. He comes off the mountain and he gives lectures, and he always talks about me. Women have a very, very important role in all of this.
Yes, we do.
The mother has something to say.
Yes, we do. We do. Dodah, Toda so much for participating.
You want me to play some on my?
Oh yeah. Let's get to Todah.
Yeah, I ain't talked about my left-handed. That's another thing I play. I'm not left-handed, but I can't play guitar no other kind of way. But left-handed, I don't know where it came from. All I know is when I first picked it up, I could only play left-handed.
Okay.
So it's a gift.
You taught yourself to play.
Well, I wouldn't even say I taught myself, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's a story. Back to Ima Maxima was our Sister's Day. This is important. I had been in Tel Aviv, and I was catching the bus coming to Mona, and I looked up, and we were in Tel Aviv, up the street from the restaurant, and this man and this woman was jumping off this 6-story building to kill themselves.
Oh my goodness.
They had like television, the trampoline, people was hollering and screaming and everything. And we riding down the street, me and whoever was on the bus, the people. And I said, what would make somebody want to kill themselves in Israel? And this people start talking in all kinds of languages. They must have been saying the same thing. But what I heard was they tried everything, but they didn't give Yah a chance. So when I got home, I could hear the music, and all I heard was give God a chance. And I said, oh boy, this song is leaving my head. I've never wrote music like that before.
Right.
So when I get home and I go to Ima Maxima's house, I say, Ima Maxima, you gotta teach me how to play something. I can play a little piano, but not like that.
Right.
So teach me something, She had a harp, and she said, well, all I got is a guitar. I said, well, teach me how to play it. And I said, okay. My daddy used to play, maybe I could play. So she gave me the guitar, and I had it this way. This is
right. The way that you right-handed. If you're right-handed.
I'm right-handed. Right. I used to be. And and she said, this don't even feel right.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned it upside down like this. And I said, that feel right. So she looking at me like I'm from outer space.
Like, that ain't how you hold a guitar.
Shavakiyah. I said, I'm going to hit every string and every fret till I heard the first note. I said, that's it. Her mouth is hanging open. And I'm saying.
You just kept picking and picking.
I just kept till I got
the sound that you was looking for.
Right. So her mouth is hanging open. She ain't talking. And I said, that's it. That's the music. And he said, she said, I can't, how could you? Before she could finish, Nadia walks in.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I want you to sing a song from me to the girl he was trying to marry. I said, okay, but I can't focus on the words right now. I said, and even my saying, you make up the words. I said, but then after I do that, what you want me to do? I want you to sing it at Evening Sensitivity. 60 people over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on down until I got the song. I said, that's the first note. And my finger's mouth is hanging off. I ain't played it in a long time. And she said, how can that be? She was like, how? I said, just write them words.
Just write words.
So that was like a comma sheet night. Mm-hmm. I went over to the up there.
The hilltop.
And it was about that Most High Shabbat. It was about 60 people. And Godale and Kiran was there. Kiran been Shavakiyah's oldest son.
Kiran?
The oldest son,
okay.
Who lives in Ghana.
Oh, he lives in Ghana?
He's been living there for a long time.
Okay.
And they were there, ready to play, and different people.
Kiran played an instrument?
He played total guitar. Remember who he played guitar?
I mean, I knew Shavakiyah sang the peanut butter song, but I never knew that his son, I never knew that Kiran played anything.
Kiran played the guitar. Good player.
Okay.
And so everybody, different people got up there and sang and read poetry. If your girlfriend was up there, you want to dedicate it to something.
Right.
The sensitivity. So I went up there and I said, I ain't going to take the guitar. I put it behind the beamer down the further door where where the MYS down there.
Right,
the Beamer
right.
was sitting down there.
Right.
Everything else was up
At the end.
So I left it down there. And so they said, now, in behalf of Atua Navia, we want call Coach Shavakiyah up here to do a selection from him to a Cotonou. And so I went up there, and Godell and Kieran's getting ready, because they're going to be.
They get ready to play for you.
Play. And I said, I had a guitar player. I didn't bring him this time. So they looking at each other like, we said she don't see us down. Right. And no, me and them ain't rehearsed enough.
Right, right.
So I said, I'm going to go down to the end. He's down there. I'm going to go out and get him. Went down there, and I brought the guitar. You could hear a pin drop.
Everybody's waiting to see what you're going to do.
They think it's going to be a joke.
Right.
So I can go there and Kieran too. They sitting there, and I start singing that. Seriously. If you want to be saved, you better run to the rock. If you want to be saved, you better run to the rock. If you want to be saved, you better run to the rock before Judgment Day. And the eyes was big. You could hear the pin drop. Nobody clapped.
When you finished?
They didn't sigh.
Nothing.
They didn't, nothing. Kieran and the Odell was looking at each other like, what? But still, they didn't believe it. So I ran out. I crying like a baby. I'm crying.
Oh, wow.
Because I was already scared. And then they didn't
no response whatsoever.
60 people.
And you felt like,
I wasn't going to never play this ever again in life. I ran down the room. And she said, what's wrong? Because they hated it. She said, what happened? She said, they didn't. I said, they didn't clap. They didn't even move. They didn't move. Didn't sigh. They was like statues. So she said, she was so wise. She said, Shavakiyah, you hypnotized him. And it was true. Because the next day I seen Nathania.
Even Nathania?
Yeah. Yeah, she said, Shavakiyah, who was that really playing that guitar? I said, that was me. You lying, Shavakiyah. You don't play no guitar. And you was playing it left-handed. You ain't left-handed. And I said, I promise you. She didn't believe me. The next day, the day after that, Godell had bought a new guitar. He was sitting in front of his house. And he was playing the guitar, And I said, he said, oh, ain't this guitar fine, It was a acoustic guitar Ovation. That's one of the best. And I said, let me see. And, I was his Dodah.
Right.
So he said, yeah, Dodah, And I started playing. He said, wow. And I thought he was going to say, Dodah, you can play the guitar. You know what he said? Oh, he said, that guitar, that's the most awesome guitar. Make anybody sound like they could play. I was so hurt. He said, for a long time, he didn't believe it, that I was playing the guitar. Till I wrote this song, and I know that was going to get him. And I taught the band that, and he came down in the basement.
Down in the Moral Life.
And I was singing and playing the guitar. He started to walk off, but I know the music, I couldn't get him the music.
Right.
And the music was real good. I forgot that song. And anyway, and he came back down there, but he didn't play the guitar. He played the piano. Mm-hmm. That's the best compliment a musician could do you when
they'll accompany you.
So I knew I was in. But let's see. This is Godell, this song. Ain't no words. I love this song. Love that song.
Well, So, well, Dodah, okay. So we're going to go ahead and thank you again for participating. And I don't have any other words. Thank all of you for watching Living Chronicles, episode 1 with Dodah Shavakiyah, and look forward for more videos because we're going to keep them coming. Toda Rabah, we're out.